next item is discussion and vote, determination of merit for review for the Unified Development Ordinance. I move that the City Council determine that the Unified Development Ordinance has merit for review that is referred to the City Planning Board, the County Planning Board, and the Design Review Commission for advisory opinions. This is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? And I'd like to turn it over to Vince again.
Thank you, Mayor. So we did receive correspondence from Sustainable Saratoga, which was followed by a number of template or duplicate emails from certain members of the community. This was discussed yesterday at pre-agenda, and I want to take just a couple of minutes to address some of the issues that were raised. The template emails created by Sustainable Saratoga suggest that the UDO is somehow not consistent with the comprehensive plan and indicate that the City Council should not approve it in its current form. To be clear, though, and to remove any possible confusion, the item up for discussion and vote tonight is not to approve the document. It is instead simply to find that it has sufficient merit for review and to refer it to the city and county planning boards and the DRC for advisory opinions. And a determination on the UDO's consistency with the comprehensive plan is exactly why we refer it to the land use boards. Most of the specific issues raised by Sustainable Saratoga are those relating to the rural residential or RR zoning district. They continue to take the position that we have failed to protect the rural areas by allowing new uses that are not rural in character. As an example, they cite domestic violence shelters and suggest that such use should be removed from the RR district and placed elsewhere in the city. Domestic violence shelters are not currently defined in our existing zoning ordinance, but we should be clear that it is not a new use. It is a newly defined use. Domestic violence shelters are licensed facilities that are residential in nature, and under our current zoning ordinance, they would be allowed as a residential use. The very purpose of a domestic violence shelter is to operate in such a way that you would have no idea that it is a domestic violence shelter. They already exist, are already allowed in the RR, and they serve an important purpose. I have the utmost respect for Sustainable Saratoga, but are we really going to tell victims of domestic violence that it's okay for them to live in our city so long as it's not in the RR district? Because that is exactly what Sustainable Saratoga is asking us to do. Likewise, Sustainable Saratoga takes issue with Children's Home and argues that they should also not be allowed in the RR district either. A children's home is also residential in nature and provides housing and care to children who otherwise have no home. Sustainable also does not want marinas being included in the RR district, but that use is already allowed and is not new. They don't want private social clubs, but our current ordinance allows for private civic clubs, and the definitions between the two are nearly identical. They take issue with animal care facilities. Now, our current ordinance allows for animal kennels in the RR. We have removed animal kennels from the UDO and incorporated the use into the definition of animal care facilities, and we continue to allow them in the RR district. We have also redefined what an inn is and have reduced the maximum number of rooms from 25 down to 8. Based on that reduction, an inn is allowable in the RR district in the UDO, but only on arterials, which is similar to the corridor overlay where they are allowed now. An inn is also defined as a use within a single-family dwelling and is required to maintain its original appearance as a single-family dwelling. A lodging house is also defined in the UDO as a single-family dwelling that can provide lodging in up to 5 guest rooms, and a rooming house in the RR district can allow up to 5 tenants plus the owner. Under the current ordinance, we already allow both neighborhood bed and breakfasts and neighborhood rooming houses, which allow up to 5 rooms for rent. These are not significant changes from what is already allowed in the RR district. And other than generically stating that the proposed uses are somehow not consistent with the comprehensive plan, they have failed to establish how. Now, there are in fact other uses which are entirely new, including community centers. These are facilities used for meeting, recreation, or social activities. They are nonprofit facilities open to the public and offer educational and community service activities. Educational facilities are also allowed in the RR district in the UDO, but only primary or secondary facilities and not vocational, colleges, or universities. This would be similar to, for example, Saratoga Independent School, which I believe generally enjoys community support. Campgrounds are also included in the UDO as an allowable use in the RR district. These require, however, a minimum of 6 acres of land, and like many of the other uses we just discussed, also requires a special use permit and site plan approval. The comprehensive plan indicates that the greenbelt where the RR district exists is intended for low density, outdoor recreation, agricultural, and other rural uses. The uses proposed in the UDO are not intended to run afoul of that vision. Our intent is and has always been to respect our city and the country and to maintain that respect with our zoning regulations. As staff, we have done our very best to produce a document which reflects this. We have done this with guidance from our consultant and with input from the community, including Sustainable Saratoga. And as the slides that Lisa has prepared reflects, there are a fair number of uses that have been removed from the RR district, both as it exists in our current zoning and as it has been submitted in the earlier drafts of the UDO. By referring the UDO to the land use boards, you are simply allowing for an opportunity to receive further guidance and input. Guidance and input that, together with that from the community, are all part of the process to make this ordinance the best that it can be. And that is the opportunity that is before you this evening. So if there are any questions, Mayor or Commissioners, I would be happy to address them.
Thank you, Vince. Any questions or comments from the council?